From Washington, this is the TVNews.TV's mid-year special, the big news in TV and new media so far. Hello, I'm Jeff Grimshaw. Well, it's been more than an interesting ride so far in 2011, with twists and turns, successes and disappointments. Well, let's get right to our first top news category, which is sports. And the big ongoing story was the continued tidal wave of viewership that sports TV enjoyed. The Super Bowl set an all-time viewing record for television. The NBA playoffs set new all-time viewing records on cable TV, and even the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs overachieved in the ratings. But the big bad news, of course, was the beginning of the NFL lockout, and right now, no one knows when it will end. Stay tuned. Well, let's move on to the big stories of broadcast TV. So far in 2011, driven by a shift in trend from traditional broadcast networks to south of the border, and by that I mean the notable rise of Latino TV. Both Univision and Telemundo have recorded their highest viewing levels ever in 2011, and now regularly beat the English-speaking broadcast nets in the ratings game. And unfortunately, for the traditional broadcast networks, well, they saw more erosion of their viewership for the broadcast season that ended in May. And May brought us to the very triumphant and poignant end to the one and only The Oprah Winfrey Show. The big news in cable was the continued surge in viewership that propelled many cable nets to all-time high viewing levels, driven of course by USA, but USA's perennial supremacy is now being challenged by some new top players like History and TNT. We also saw a bevy of uber-successful miniseries that captured hearts and eyeballs like The Kennedys, The Borgias, Camelot, and of course, Game of Thrones. On the television news front, we saw the female count take a hit as both Katie Couric and Meredith Vieira took a powder. News viewing, well, it held its own, driven by compelling stories like the disaster in Japan, the royal wedding, the death of Osama bin Laden, and last but not least, Wienergate. And we have seen a major shift in cable news viewership with the rise of HLN, accompanied by the continued fall of CNN. And finally, we have seen the end of Fox News Channel's Glenn Beck era. We'll be back to take a look at the big news in new media and the biggest story so far in 2011, right after this.
Saturday, November 12th, the Turner Alumni Group celebration happens at the Hilton Atlanta. All Turner employees, past and present, are invited to join special honored guest Ted Turner, host Bill Tush, plus all of your Turner colleagues and pals for a mega event that's been 3.5 decades in the making. For information and registration, head on over to the Turner Alumni Group celebration page on Facebook.
In the first half of 2011, the big stories in new media were dominated by a one-time unlikely player, Netflix, which ascended to now commanding the most video minutes consumed on the web, bar none. And Netflix stunned the entire entertainment industry with the announcement of the launch of their very own original series called House of Cards. And social media continued to be a source of big news stories, with both a surge in market share by Twitter, aided by the media, and the continuing expansion of the Facebook universe, reaching now 750 million users worldwide. And now we come to what the TVNews.TV has tabbed as the biggest stories of 2011 so far. First and foremost, the merging of Comcast and NBC, which is a certainty on so many levels to change the landscape of both TV and new media moving forward. Next up, the meltdown of Charlie Sheen and the whole sordid affair spilled out on Twitter and live stream for the world at large to voyeuristically witness at will. And the final big story of 2011 so far has been Oprah's big flop on cable with OWN. In one sentence, so many big expectations, such a big disappointment. We'll be right back with a final word right after this.
It's getting late now, it's time to go. It's over the top now, it's out of control. It's just a matter of time.
So what do you think? What will the second half of 2011 bring? Well, an always promising new fall broadcast TV season is a certainty, sure. A new ratings-dominating season of NFL football? Not so fast. Perhaps the emergence of a new star in broadcast syndication. And most likely, even higher consumption levels in cable TV. And new media, well, the sky's the limit. But for the remainder of the year and beyond, the TV News, your only daily video source of TV industry news for the TV industry, will endeavor to keep you informed of both the big breaking stories and the significant trends. I'm Jeff Grimshaw. We thank you very, very much for watching. We invite you to stay close to the TV news on top social networks, and as always, go out and make it a good day.